Mr. Sharat Pradhan, this comment was made in Ghaziabad. Ghaziabad, as you know, is in fact at the center of an area from where the army does a lot of recruiting. Will this comment secure and perhaps cement Muslim support to the Samajwadi Party, or could it put off many people from the Muslim community who look to the army as a noble career? How will it, in other words, go down with the electors of Ghaziabad?
Well, I happen to be in this very region. When I met Azam Khan also this morning in Rampur, and he was trying to tell me a story that he landed into a colonel of the army who was traveling with him on a train. Today, this is a different story that he said, and that colonel hugged him because he was very happy that Azam Khan was a Muslim, and that colonel narrated the story to him. This is how he put it. And when I confronted him that this was not right for him to be dividing the army on such lines, he was busy. I said, he tells me, why are you objecting if I am praising Muslims? So this is the kind of, it's very obvious that it is, the idea is to enlist greater support of the Muslims. You know, they have been losing out on the Muslim support, and they are fully aware of it after the Muzaffarnagar riot. Samajwadi Party has suffered very badly as far as the Muslim support is concerned, and Muslim support is their main base.
Mr. Pradhan, let me interrupt you. What you're really saying to me is that A, Mr. Azam Khan has no idea of the damage he has done to the army by his thoughtless, senseless comments, and the fact that army officers, both serving and retired, resent what he said. And secondly, you're also saying to me that he's clearly done this for reasons of political expediency. This is his way of trying to win Muslim votes for Samajwadi. Have I understood you correctly on both?
Absolutely, this reflects the desperation in the Samajwadi Party to get the Muslim vote on which depends their future.
All right. Let me go to Mr. Madhukar Jaitley. That link to Lucknow is back up. Mr. Jaitley, let me put to you the question that unfortunately you didn't have a chance to answer when the link broke. Does your party support and endorse, or does it criticize and condemn the statement from Azam Khan? And let me point out that in your absence, former Army Chief General Malik, who served under Mr. Mulayam Singh when Mr. Mulayam Singh was Defence Minister, has roundly and sharply criticized Azam Khan. And practically everyone in the army believes that what Mr. Azam Khan has said is deeply dangerous. So I repeat my question: does Samajwadi Party endorse Azam Khan's statement or condemn it?
You see, Karan, during the course of the day today, the Samajwadi Party leader, Mr. Shivpal Singh Yadav, has already expressed his views regarding the statement of Mr. Azam Khan.
In a nutshell, what did he say? What did he say? Tell me what he said.
I'll elaborate it to you. What he has said is that he has the highest respect for the army, and that all the sections of the society, from the Hindus to the Christians to the Sikhs to the Muslims, have all contributed to the secular image of the army, which has not only helped the country in the subverting of the riots, whether it was Gujarat,
forgive me, I'm interrupting you, Mr. Jaitley.
Whether it was
what you're not telling me is whether you support or condemn what Azam Khan has said. You're simply saying to me that Shivlal Yadav praised the army and praised its secularism. Everyone does. Now come back to my specific question. Does the Samajwadi Party condemn or endorse Azam Khan? Answer that specifically.
You see, what I'm saying is, now since the Election Commission has already issued a notice to him, I heard General Malik speaking about expecting Mulayam Singh Yadav to express a view. Now since the matter has gone beyond the juriscope of the Samajwadi Party, it has gone between the Election Commission and Mr. Azam Khan. So
Mr.
now
Jaitley,
it is for Mr. Azam Khan,
this is glib attempts to deflect.
In order to have a fair view,
Election Commission steps in, but it does not. Forgive me, I'm interrupting you, Mr. Jaitley. The Election Commission stepping in does not mean there is no need for the Samajwadi Party to make its own view clear. And given that Mulayam Singh is proud of having served as Defence Minister, there's a moral responsibility on him to do so. Your silence, and his silence in particular, is damning both the party and its leader.
No, we are not silent. I told you, Karan, just now, that the statement of the Samajwadi Party leader, Mr. Shivpal Singh Yadav, has already come in the course of the day today.
But it's not a clear statement. That's what I'm saying to you. Shivpal Singh Yadav, from the statement as you elaborated it, has not said whether he supports or endorses or condemns.
Give me an answer that the election commission will wait till the time the statement of Mr. Azam Khan reaches the election commission for it to take a view on that, and that will be the final view beyond the view of the Samajwadi Party.
You're clearly not going to answer my question. You're going into a very elaborate attempt to avoid answering it. I can see that you're embarrassed. Let me ask you to hold your peace for a moment. I'm going to go to General Malik and then to Mr. Javadekar. General Malik, you've heard what Mr. Jaitley has said. Clearly, it doesn't answer my question about whether the party supports and endorses or criticizes and condemns. All they've done is to simply reiterate that they believe the army is extremely secular. As a former army chief, are you satisfied with that response, or do you think they've ducked the issue completely?
Karan, you know, these are the kind of statements when they are made by politicians and politics. That is why people have no respect for the politicians today. You know, and the party must realize it. You have a person who is not only ignorant, but who makes these statements with a malicious intent, dividing the society, dividing the army, damaging these institutions. I see no reason why some action should not be taken. So there is no question of ducking. Again, I say that there are certain institutions in our country. Army is one of them, which is considered to be the most secular institution. So there is no reason for anybody to duck and take the party line rather than the national line.
In other words, in a nutshell,
we should now be talking at the national level.
In a word, in a nutshell, you're saying to me you're not satisfied with what you've heard from Madhukar Jaitley and what he claims Shivlal Yadav said. A quick yes or no to that, General Saab.
Yes, of course, I have said that earlier also, that I expect Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav to take some action.
Now, Mr. Javadekar, it's your party that took the matter to the Election Commission. The explanation you've just heard from Mr. Jaitley, is it sufficient in your eyes to explain away this whole controversy? Or are you dissatisfied with what you've heard from Mr. Jaitley?
Absolutely outrage. Our reaction is outrageous because this is not explanation. This is defending the indefensible.
Okay.
The Samajwadi Party had chosen not to ask apology from Azam Khan or take any action or say categorically that what he said was wrong.
No,
instead, they are
action? Can I ask a question from Mr. Javadekar?
No, it's not Mr. Javadekar that I want you to ask questions from. I want you to answer my question. I'm going to give you one last chance. You think you've explained the matter away. The problem, Mr. Jaitley, is that Azam Khan has been giving interviews to this channel earlier today, which I will play for you in a moment's time, where he's staunchly and unflinchingly defended and stood by his comment. He doesn't believe he said anything wrong. So I'm going to come back to you. Are you endorsing him, or are you prepared to say he made a terrible mistake? Give me a clear answer.
I am saying that the Election Commission will take its view at the end of the day.
Forgive me, it's not the Election Commission's view I'm asking you about. I'm asking you for your party's view. You decided, the Election Commission doesn't decide your view. So give me your party's view. Explain to me why Mulayam Singh Yadav is so silent.
The view of the individual who has been served the notice is to be given to the Election Commission.
And then the Election Commission will decide on that view,
which will include the party will abide by that decision.
Mr. Jaitley, what part of my sentence can you not understand? I'm not asking for the Election Commission's view. I'm not asking for the individual concerned view. I'm asking for your party's view. I'm asking you, does your party endorse or condemn what Azam Khan said? It's a perfectly simple question. Why don't you answer it?
The party's view has already been expressed earlier during the course of the day, as I said to you, that we have the highest regard for the army.
And
we have the highest regard for all the castes that are
going around
serving
in
in the
circles like
army.
little children. That is not the question. I know you have the highest regard for the army, and I'm grateful that you do. But you haven't answered my question whether you support what Azam Khan said or criticize it. Answer that question. Or are you saying to the audience that you refuse to do so?
It will be unfair for me to have a view on this at this stage when the notice has been served to him.
All right. It's unfair.
Let us wait till the time the answer of Mr. Azam Khan is served to the Election Commission.
Unfairness to Azam Khan matters a lot more than the insult done to the Indian army. That's your value and those are your priorities.